David Washco. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back from your break. You are in for a treat, my good friend, David Washco.
Good afternoon. If lunch is kicking in and you're starting to get a little droozy, don't worry, I'm going to wake you up. I promise. We all face them. We all have them. Some are small. Some are very life-impacting. But we do not all overcome them. And that is obstacles. My sister and I grew up in Orange County, California as children. And we used to walk to school together in the mornings. About halfway in between our home and Northcutt Middle School is a park. This one particular morning, my sister and I were walking to the park, and these 5 boys jumped out on us. 3 of the boys got me down on the ground on my knees, while one of them took a clump of hair and held my head up so I could watch the other 2 chase down my sister, drag her in front of me, grab clumps of grass and force her to chew on it and swallow it. Years later, looking back, it really came to my mind. I remembered that it wasn't the bullying, it wasn't the potential psychological ramifications that did the damage. It was the fact that I believed and perceived that I had let my sister down, that I had failed her. And more importantly, that I was going to have to go home and tell my parents I let them down as the older brother. The good news is, years later, I ran across world-renowned author and motivational speaker Zig Ziglar. And I heard him use the words, "There's a greater authority than all of us that promises we are all designed for accomplishment. We are all engineered for success. And we are all endowed with the seeds of greatness." So how do we overcome these obstacles that we face in our lives? The small, annoying ones. The ones that emotionally drain us. And the obstacles that keep us up at night. Well, there are 7 steps that you can take that will improve your odds and your opportunities for success in facing whatever obstacles they are. So you definitely want your notebook out. The first of these is to recognize that the majority of obstacles fall under these 7 foundational areas in our lives. You need to sit down, decide what 2 or 3 obstacles you want to overcome. Name them, recognize them, and define them, and determine which area they fall under. The next step, number 2, is to move away a little bit and recall a hero of yours. Somebody from a book, somebody you know, even a movie character. It doesn't matter. Put yourselves in their shoes. What was it that identified you with that hero or made you long to be like that hero? Write that down. And if you want to put yourself on a great start, find a hero for each of those 7 life foundational areas. The third step, who is a mentor to you? Who can be a mentor to you? It could be a family member, a work associate, somebody from church. Mentors know how to see the strengths and weaknesses you've possessed and pull the very best out of you. The fourth step, which is also very much known as possibly the most challenging step, is to believe in yourself. And that's where mentors can play a role. See, it is when we're in those valleys of our challenges that the mentors come alongside of us and pull us up and out. Sean Acor, psychologist, who's actually spoken for TEDx, did a large research study with individuals. And through that research, what he found was these 5 things to do that will help you find happiness, that will help you to believe in yourself. And he says to do them for 21 days, because we all know that's how long it takes to form a habit. The first of these is to write down 3 gratitudes each day, 3 new gratitudes that you are appreciative for. The second one is to write down 1 positive experience that has taken place in the previous 24 hours. The next is to obviously, as it says, to exercise, raise those endorphin levels, raise your energy. The fourth is certainly prayer and meditation. And the last is to conduct 1 random act of kindness over the next 24 hours. It could be something as simple and as powerful as a handwritten thank you note. Doing these things will allow you and help you find the value that's in you. And we all have the value. The 5th step. Find an affirmation statement that speaks to your very essence. Whether it's quotes, scripture, a short story. Ever since I was a child, I loved the short story about John Henry taking on that steam engine and busting through the mountain. Later in adult life, that transferred over to one of my favorite scriptures, let us not become weary in doing good, for at the proper time we will reap a harvest if we do not give up. Find this quote, find a scripture, short story for each of those 7 life foundational areas. So when you face those troubles, when you come across those quotes, those are the ones that help to rejuvenate you. The 6th step is to take action today. What steps can you take now that will help you get 1 step closer to overcoming that obstacle, that objection? It is now time to become solution-oriented and move away from being problem-focused. And this is also where mentors can, again, play a very valuable role. The 7th step, it is now time to execute. It is now time to put your steps that you've written down into action. To take action. We all know this famous speech by Martin Luther King, I have a dream. It wasn't, I had a plan. Dave Ramsey, financial guru, says if you want your dreams to come alive, you want your visions to take on life and color, you need to get up, get out of the cave, kill something, and drag it home. In other words, get up and take action. You know, isn't it funny that we as human beings, when we come across an obstacle, we tend to take the path of least resistance? We either go over the obstacle, we try to find ways to go around it or even under it. But how often do we say, you know what, I'm going to take on the challenge to endure it, to learn what I can learn from what's in front of me, and break through it? I don't ever plan on being attacked by a cement block or a piece of ice. But as that kid that one time who was too weak, too small to protect his little sister, I want to show you what happens when you put these 7 steps to action. Take them on, mixed with a little bit of passion and desire, and what can be made accomplished. And then I'd like to finish with a short story. Patience and endurance is something we don't value enough, because it's in the patience and endurance where true learning takes place. And I want to share a quick story about this. Bamboo farmers know all about compound interest. As a matter of fact, they stake their entire existence on it. Growing bamboo is tough, especially growing the supreme grade of bamboo. In Malaysia, there is a strain of very valuable bamboo that takes great wisdom and patience to cultivate. And here's how you do it. In the first year, you plant the seed, water, and fertilize. Nothing visible happens. In the second year, you continue to carefully water and fertilize. Nothing visible happens in the second year either. In the third year, you water and fertilize, and even more necessary, yet nothing happens. There is no absolute visible indication of your 3 years of work is even close to being successful. The fourth year comes around, and water and fertilizer must still be applied in the right amounts and at the right time. But you guessed it, nothing happens. In the fifth year, you again diligently water and fertilize, and the bamboo grows 90 feet, that's 9 stories, in 30 days. It is my wish, after being up here today and you hearing those speakers, that you will take on the challenge of the obstacles that are in front of you and put these 7 steps to practice, and that you end up becoming successful. And maybe even one step better, you will get to be a mentor to somebody else. Thank you.